Walaikum salam. Yes, well, I can hear you.
Okay.
And I'm excited to experience this rapid transformation of our society. I certainly see it differently. I know that there is the agenda that those who think they're in power may have to create chaos and then create an excuse for a paramilitary kind of takeover of the cities, but that's going to backfire. And they are, in their arrogance, believing that they have the power to overpower the masses of people, and they don't. And what I'm seeing happening, even though there are those who are coming basically to provoke more violence and to take advantage of an opportunity to steal things, and a lot of them who are creating the conflict and burning things are doing so just so that they can steal things, and it has less to do with George Floyd or any of the other acts of racial violence. Still, this whole thing is a dismantling of this society as we know it. It's a dismantling of the economic system. It's a dismantling of the legal system, the social system. All of these things that have been abuses are being dismantled. The coronavirus was the beginning. So the economy was already bottoming out because too many businesses had been closed for too long. What will end up happening, a lot of businesses that probably weren't going to recover anyway, well, now they can file insurance claims because they can say, well, the looters burned and destroyed my store. So they're not going to suffer so much because of the looting, because they already were in a state of distress because of a lack of commerce going on for too long. But we now have the power to rebuild something else, and this is what is going to happen. We're seeing now that the old way isn't going to come back, and we now have an opportunity to create what should have been in place all along, something that is inclusive, that is led by the masses of the people and not a small group of families that control all of the commerce and all of the wealth and the banking system and all of that. We now have an opportunity to empower ourselves to create a society that is self-managed and not under the control and the intimidation of an armed, occupying army. The only thing we have to do, like Beata was saying about the black-on-black crime, we need to eliminate the police force. We need to eliminate that as a structure. We should never have a force of people given carte blanche to murder at their own discretion, because that structure attracts bullies. It attracts people who want to have an inordinate amount of power over others. That system, that structure has to be dismantled, and it is being dismantled. But what has to happen in its place is that families have to, again, take responsibility for the raising of their children with ethics and values that say you do no harm to another being. We have to take responsibility for creating that. Therefore, we don't have to be calling the police on each other because we're out of control. We created this situation by allowing these people, these armed bullies, to control our communities because we keep calling these people on each other. When we stop doing that, when we stop meeting them, paying our tax dollars to finance them, and we choose to dismantle that structure, then we'll have the kind of society that we're evolving to. But we have to make that decision that that is the end result that we're aiming for, to dismantle that whole structure of policing, because a civilized society does not need armed enforcers in order to create order. So the ball is really in our court.
Right. Check your text, Naimah.
Okay.
But Naimah, do you
How quickly do you think we can make that happen in an urban area where you have a mayor like you have in Chicago, for instance, and the structure that has been there for hundreds of years, especially in Chicago, a strong political machine that is very resistant change?
Well, we always say in 50 years, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults. So we have to go through this process of cleansing. And this younger generation is primed to dismantle what exists and rebuild what should exist. So we have, in the mayor of Chicago and so many other cities, people who are paramilitary, people who are pro-police, because that's their thinking. But what they're demonstrating is that this can't exist because it's not working. And so we have to go through the process of observing the fact that this can't exist so we can make the decision to get rid of it. Things have to get bad enough for us to decide to eliminate them, just like we had to see someone, again, murdered before our eyes with an arrogance that just was incomprehensible before enough people just snapped and said, that's it. This will not happen again. And we're seeing the dismantling of this society that allowed this kind of thing to happen. So what we see, it may seem bad, but it's actually good because, as you know, a lot of more people need to awaken before we can make the transformation. And so this was an awakening for those who were still asleep. And we've even seen some videos from a lot of white people that I really didn't realize what they were talking about with their racism, but now I see. So this is what had to happen so that many more people could see.